This conference will now be recorded.
Let us take some practical business scenarios and then try to see how we will do them on the system. Okay, so these are the most common or possible scenarios that you can get from any of your project. Similar things, let us try to experiment on the system. So first, let's take from GL master data. From GL master data, what are all the scenarios that we can take? In this, first let's take line item management. Next, we'll take open item management. Balances in local currency only. And next one, post automatically only. Now let's open any one GL account and then see any other things we can experiment. GA10. Okay. Operating expenses. Okay. This also we can take change of GL account type. Change of GL account type. Next one, tax category. Change of cost element category. And next, delete GL as a cost element. And while GL has been in use. Next one, convert GL as a cost element while GL has been in use. One point, we have to remove the GL account as cost element while it is in use. Similarly, you have to add GL as cost element while this is in use. Clear? Next, postings to alternative account. Postings to alternative GL accounts. This also we can take relevant to cash flow functionality. relevant to cash flow functionality. So in short, we have written around 10 scenarios. These 10 scenarios must be experimented, must be tested on the system practically to have better understanding from the SAP point of view. Clear? Now what we will do, we will try to experiment a few. The remaining you have to experiment on your own. Any doubt, confusion you are getting, I will clarify it with your error specific. Which means if you are trying something and you are not able to do it, make sure you are able to explain where you are stuck, what you are trying to do, and what you are expecting from the other person. Clear? Am I clear? Let's say
Yes.
tomorrow you're working in a project and you've been assigned a ticket or you've been asked to do this functionality, maybe any one of this. You've been asked to activate or deactivate line item management for a GL account. It is not that just like that you'll go to the master data, put a tick or remove a tick. You will have to understand the impact of each change that you are performing on the GL master data, because these changes will behave in different ways depending on the different scenarios. Now, what scenarios we normally have? Scenarios to be considered. First scenario that you have to consider is GL does not have any postings. When we say GL does not have any posting, what do we mean? When you say GL does not have any posting, what does this mean?
New GL, newly created GL.
Right? It's a newly created GL. No entries have been posted to it. So if the scenario number is 1, which is your GL does not have any posting, you can do any change. Because this does not have any posting, so you are free to do any modification on the GL account. Let's say the second one, GL has the postings, but the account balance is 0. Okay, what is this? This is a different scenario. Your GL account has postings, but the account balance is 0. In this scenario, certain changes are possible, certain changes are not possible. What changes are possible, what changes are not possible, we have to practically do it on the system and then understand. It's not something that we will try to understand overall, because these are all the things that you'll have to practically experiment on the system of your own. Right? Now, third one will be GL has the postings, but the account balance is not 0. In this case, you have made postings to the account, but the balance did not become 0. Okay, you have posted the entries, but the balance did not become 0. In this case, what changes are possible, what changes are not possible, we have to understand. Clear? Clear with these 3 scenarios?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what we'll do, let's take few examples. Now, experiment and testing to be done on both ECC and S/4HANA systems. To know if there are any changes from ECC to S/4HANA. Clear? You have to experiment this, or you have to test this on both ECC and S/4HANA, the same scenario. Right? Tomorrow when you're in a project, no rule that your client has to be only on ECC or your client has to be only on S4HANA. Both are possible. Scenario will be the same, but if you're on ECC environment, what would be the approach? If you're on S4HANA environment, what would be the approach? Certain things will remain same on both ECC and S4HANA. Certain things will be different on ECC and on S4HANA. So where you are finding the differences, why that difference is coming, we have to practically understand. Okay. Now let's take the first thing, line item management. So when we talk about line item management, here you have two options, activation and deactivation. Clear? Point number one, you want to activate line item management. Point number two, you want to deactivate line item management. Is this scenario clear? These are the basic scenarios to begin with. Now, first, let me log into S4 HANA system. Okay, I'm on S4 HANA system. I'll take any GL account. Basically, line item management is valid for all kind of a GL accounts. It's fine, whatever the account you open for your testing. Whether you open a balance sheet account or you open a P&L account, this is fine. Let me open balance sheet account. And if I go to line item management, where do you find line item management? Type description, control data, create bank interest.
Control data.
It will be part of your control data. If you go to control data, do you find line item management? Currently, I am on S4 HANA system. Do you have line item management on S4 HANA?
We don't have an S4.
No.
It is not there on S4 HANA system. Now what I'll do, I'll log into ECC system. Now I am on ECC system, same transaction FS00, and any company code is fine. I'll take same cash account or bank account. Control data. Do we have line item management here? On
Yes.
ECC system, you are able to see line item management, but on the S4 HANA system, this line item is removed. Now, is there any change from ECC to HANA with respect to line item display?
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is a difference. Tomorrow, if somebody is asking you, do we have line item management or can we activate, deactivate line item management for a GL account? So your answer would be different. You are not supposed to say yes or no straight away, because there is a condition here. This line item management is valid or applicable only for ECC versions, whereas on your S4 HANA version, on your S4 HANA environment, line item management is removed from master record. Correct? Which means by default, every GL account is managed as line item. There is no point that you have to manually tick or untick in S4 HANA system. But in case of your ECC system, you have to manually tick or untick, which means activate or deactivate or enable or disable line item management on your ECC environment. How this actually works? What is the purpose of this line item management? If you talk about line item management, so this is valid only in ECC, right? In S4 HANA, this is removed. By default, all GLs are line item managed. Is this clear? On your ECC system, this is valid, whereas on your S4HANA system, this is removed, which means by default, all your GL accounts are line item managed. Now, if you have to perform this activity, do you have to test this on ECC or you have to test it on S4? Where to test?
ECC.
You have to test this only on ECC because on S4HANA, this functionality is no more available. This functionality is to be tested only on ECC system. Now, when you're testing, test case 1 and test case 2. Test case 1, test case 2. You have to take different scenarios to be able to understand the actual functionality of it. In the test case 1, activate line item. In the test case 2, deactivate line item. Now, how do we decide whether the line item is activated or deactivated? Based on this tick. If this tick is enabled, it is activated. If the tick is disabled, this is deactivated. Is this statement correct? If it is ticked, activated. If no tick, not activated. Am I correct?
Yes.
First, what I'll do, let me create a new GL account. $14. I'll put test case 1. So in the test case 1, what we assumed, activate line item management. So if our case is activate line item management, initially it should be deactivated. Is that right? Something is mandatory. Now, if you see this, if I'm not able to activate this or if I do not activate this, system is not allowing me to save the GL account. Why so?
It's on the field status.
It is in the field status. Correct. Now, what we have to do, you have to remove this control from your system. Now, which account group are we using? 111 cash bank. Now, where do you check GL account groups?
OB13.
GL account group. What is the screen to check GL account groups?
OBD4.
OBD4, correct. Let me go to OBD4. In OBD4, I need to find out the chart of account. Company code is HDAM. Let me check with HD alone if I find anything. HD, I have something. Account group, I am able to see 111. And here also your account group is 111. Clear? Now, even when you're in a project, similar things will happen. Similar things might happen. You are trying to test one scenario, but you will end up getting different errors. When you're getting different errors, you have to understand the existing business processes setup in your client, because not every company, not every organization will have configuration in the similar manner. There may be different standard control points, different customized control points. You have to understand it first. Now, our intention was only to activate, deactivate line item, but while creating GL account itself, we were stuck. right? We were stuck at the GL account creation itself because there is a control point which will check if your line item is activated or not activated. Now, for our testing purpose, we do not need this checkpoint. We are manually removing it. So that is coming from your GL account group setting. Select this GL account group. On top, you will find field status. Now, having seen this, you have to keep a point in your mind. You will have field status control for your GL master data as well. You can control which field to be displayed, which field to be made optional, which field to be made mandatory during a GL master creation. Okay, so on OBD4 for a respective account group, select, click on field status. On field status, we have different things. Let me open one by one. Account control. In the account control, there are different fields, but do you find line item management?
No.
It is not there. So go to the next section by clicking on next group on the top. You will find an arrow mark. Click on this. Do you find line item here?
Yes.
Line item management is here. What is the status of it?
Required entry.
This is required entry. Let me put this as required entry. Now, having seen this, you have to get one thing on your mind. On your ECC system, especially for this company code, line item management field is visible, but this is set as required. But on the same screen, you are able to find another option called suppress. If you tick suppress, what will happen?
The field will disappear.
The field will disappear. Now what I'll do, I'll click on suppress. I'll save this. Okay, I made this suppress. Now what I'll do, I'll come out, reopen FS00. I'll try to create another account by copying this. Now if I go to control data, line item management is there or it disappeared. Do you find line item management?
No.
It is no longer visible. Does this mean line item management is not applicable in ECC also? Can we conclude like that? Can we interpret like that?
No.
We cannot interpret, we cannot conclude like that. Even when you're in any project, do not come to any conclusion, do not interpret on your own if you have not seen practically. Because we do not know whether that functionality is not enabled from SAP side itself or it has been manually disabled by the consulting side. By the consulting side, I mean through the configuration, through the enhancements, we have hidden that field. So straight away, we are not able to see does not mean it is not available. Clear? This is very important when you are working in any project. Never come to any conclusion just by looking at the screen. Now, having seen this, let us go to S4HANA system. Maybe we may have an option to enable line item management in S4HANA. Possible now? Now, is this possible or not? In S4HANA system, that is set as a suppressed. If you want, you can enable it. Yes, no? Possible or not possible? Any possibility?
Not
We
possible.
have to check that. Let us check on your S4HANA system also. Let me open OBD4 on S4HANA system. This is only for the testing purpose. We can open any account group. And let's go to this. Open item management is there, but line item management option itself is missing, right? You see the field status. account management. You will find open item management, line item management both here. But on S4HANA, only open item management is available. Line item management has been removed. Unless you see practically, never come to a conclusion. Because tomorrow, the same question you've been asked in your interview. If you say, no, this is not there, are you sure that are you aware that we can enable a particular field from the field status of a GL account group? If you say yes, then have you seen that it is available on your field status? Then if you say no, then you're not sure, you're not confident, right? If you have not seen it here, you cannot answer confidently, right? Having seen here, you can tell upfront to anybody confidently, no, I got this scenario to enable it, but I have seen on the SAP screen, I've even gone inside the field status group of the GL account group, but I could not find it there, which means that functionality has been removed in S4HANA system. You can upfront tell confidently to anybody. But if you have not seen, to some extent you will have confidence, but the moment you get any kind of a cross questions, no, we can enable this from field status. The moment you hear such kind of tricky questions, cross questions, something strikes in your mind, may be possible, that may be hidden, right? You would have seen a client system, or you would have seen standard settings wherein this is by default suppressed. But if you want, there may be an option to enable it. We are not aware, right? So when you're not aware, at one point of time, you will come to a conclusion wherein whatever you have seen is correct, but never come to a conclusion unless you work on it, unless you know it 100%, because these are very, very risky. When you speak out, you will end up telling incorrect information, which will lead to a negative remark. Now, this is clear. This functionality is available only on ECC. This is valid only in ECC. In S4HANA, this is removed, which means the option of line item management itself is eliminated from S4. Now you have to test this in how many systems? 1 or 2? Do we need to test this in one system or 2 systems? I mean ECC or S4HANA, or both, or only one?
Only ECC.
Only ECC we have to test it. Now let's create a GL account. I will make it optional. I'll save this in ECC. Let me come out of the same screen from S4HANA. Okay, now I'm going to create one more account. I have to come out to refresh the setting. Copy. I'll put test case 1. As I'm testing, I'm giving test case 1 for easy identification. First, let's try to activate this. Activate line item. For us to test this, by default, it has to be active or inactive. If I have to test this, should I create a GL account with line item active or line item deactive?
Activate.
You have to create line item deactive, because your requirement is to activate the line item. If you have to activate, initially it has to be deactivated.
Yes, sir.
Right? So your requirement is to activate the line item, which means The existing account is line item deactivated. I am going to create this without line item management. I'll just save this. I'm just saving this. Now, if I want to change this, currently this account, does it have any transactions?
No, sir.
No transactions. How we are telling that there are no transactions? Because we just created the account, we have not posted anything onto it. GL line item management will allow us to see the detailed line items of the documents posted in the account. Correct? If you enable line item management, it will allow you to see all the line items that are posted in the GL account. If you do not put that, it will not allow you to see the detailed line items. Now, you have to understand one more point here. There are two line item reports in SAP. There are how many line item reports?
Two.
Two line items report. First one is your FBL 3N. First one is FBL 3N and the other one is FAGLL 03. If you see both are same. GL account line item display, GL account line item display. Clear? Both are line item display.
Yes, sir.
Now, to put, we have two reports to see GL line items. First one is FBL 3N. Second one is FAGLL 03. What are these two reports? This one is your classic GL. This one is your, if you have
New GL.
one as classic GL, the other one will be new GL. You must be aware of these two terminology. What is classic GL? What is new GL? So first report talks about classic GL. Second report talks about new GL. Now let's try to see what is actually happening with this. Let's take the same account in both the reports. 1110014. Let me click on execute. On FBL3N, what error message are we getting?
No line item
line.
display.
No line item display possible for account. Our account number. It is telling you have determined that displaying line item is not possible for GL account in company code this. This is correct. System is behaving correct, as in your GL account line item is disabled. Correct? If line item is disabled, according to our statement, GL line item management will allow us to see the detailed line items of the document posted in the account. Now, since the GL line item management is disabled, it will not allow us to see the transactions. Agree? Whether there is a transaction or there is no transaction is a secondary, but primary point is it should not allow you to enter the screen. Is that what it is doing? It is stopping the moment you click on execute.
Yes, sir.
Correct? The moment I click on execute, it is telling that this display is not possible for this account. So this setting is working fine with which report? FBL 3N. It is stopping us from entering the screen or accessing the screen. Fine. Now let me open another report, new GL related report, FAGLL 03. Same account number, same company code, everything is same. I'll click on execute here. What happened here? Did system allow us to enter inside the screen, or it stopped? Did we enter inside now?
Yes.
We entered inside. Inside it is telling there is no data to be displayed. But on the other side, on your classic GL report, it is not even allowing you to enter the screen, which means this line item management is valid for new GL or is valid for classic GL.
Classic GL.
Line item management is applicable only for classic GL. For new GL, whether you put the tick, you do not put the tick, doesn't matter. Right? Now, currently from ECC onwards, wherever you see something called document splitting, or wherever you hear the term called a new GL, there is something called a new GL. As part of a new GL, every client, whoever, whether they are using ECC or they are using S4HANA. In S4HANA, there is no concept of classic GL. S4HANA is by default new GL. So that is why this line item tick is removed in S4HANA, because there is no classic GL. This is belonging to classic GL. On your ECC, there may be certain clients who are working on classic GL. There may be certain clients who are working on new GL. If somebody is working on classic GL, they cannot access this report. If somebody is working on new GL, they can access both the reports. Okay, if you're on new GL, you can allow users to access both the reports. But on the other side, if you're on classic GL alone, you can use only classic GL related report. Now, currently on your S4HANA system, because most of your clients are an S4HANA system, this report is not recommended by SAP. Usage of FBL3N is not recommended by SAP. You have to strictly use FAGLL03 for GL line item display. Clear? On S4HANA, you have to strictly use which report? New GL or classic GL?
New GL.
You have to use new GL report. What is that report?
FAGLL03.
FAGLL03. Okay. Now coming back to the setting. Currently this is disabled. There is no transaction. Let me try to change this. I'll try to enable this and I'll try to save this. Is this allowed to save? System
Yes,
is allowing us to save. There is no error message. Okay. Now line item is enabled. Let me pull the report. Earlier there is a error message. What I'll do, I'll run this report once again. I'll go back. FBL3N. I will run the report once again. This time, is this giving error message or it's telling no date, no items selected?
not giving errors. No item selected.
No items selected. Now, assuming we have some transactions. Let's assume we have some transactions. Let's see how system is going to behave. I'll post any one transaction, FB01, or I'll copy a transaction because all I need is one transaction. I'll go to document list. I'll take GL documents with SA type and take any document that you want. I am going to post an entry by copying this entry. Copy this document number. This belongs to 2022 fiscal year. Go to F-02 or FB01. On this screen, you will find an option called post with reference. Okay, slowly you have to know the usage of all these functionalities. Put this document number from this company code 2022. What system is going to do? It will make a duplicate copy of this transaction. Just press enter. It will give you the duplicate copy of it. Keep pressing enter. It will show the document on the simulation mode. For us, we want to change this GL account. I don't want this account. But once you're on the simulation screen, you cannot change the account number. So that is why what you have to do, you have to change it before you come to simulation screen. For that, come back, click on post with reference again, same account number, company code, fiscal year. When you press enter, before pressing enter, you have to change the account number. This is your first account. This is your second account. But for the second account, am I able to change this account number? No, right? This is not editable. This is editable or not editable?
Not editable, sir.
Not editable. I'll come back. I am on the simulation screen. Now here again there is one more point. Let's say you want to do a post with reference, but I want to change the document. It is allowing me to update only the first account number. But here, if you have to update the second account number, how you are going to do it? So first I'll put this account number, enter. Now our intention is to put one leg in this account, but are we able to post one side to our new account? Right, this account is now being debited. Let me post this entry. Document is posted. Now if I run the report, I am on FBL3N. If I execute this report, are we getting the output?
Yes, sir.
This is your classic report. This is your classic GL report. Now let me run new GL report. I'll come back, execute. This is your new GL report. Now are we able to see the data on both the reports, classic and new GL?
Yes, sir.
Now if we deactivate this, currently line item management is enabled, so we are able to see the data on both the reports. If line item management is disabled, ideally according to that functionality, system should not give us this breakup. This line items should not be displayed. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
That is what this functionality is supposed to do. What I'll do, I'll come back to this. Now here comes your scenarios. You are making this change at the stage where your account has postings. There is a balance. Your account has postings and there is a balance. If you see, we have written GL account has postings, but the account balance is not 0. Is this the same scenario? Your account has a posting, but the total is not 0. Right? In this case, let's see if system is allowing us to deactivate line item. Remove the tick mark. This becomes deactivation. Click on save. System is allowing us to save. No error message. Only warning
Yes.
and proceed. Continue. Now GL account has been deactivated. Your line item management is deactivated. Now what I'll do, I am on the classic GL. If I run this report, should I get the output or I should not get output?
We shouldn't
Should
get
not
the
be
output.
We should not get the output. because we have deactivated line item display. Let me go here, execute. This is your classic GL screen. Is this working fine?
Fine, sir. Yes, sir.
Classic GL report is working fine because you have disabled, it is not giving the output. Let us check the new GL report. I'll go back. I will execute. Is the system stopping this in spite of deactivating that line item?
No, sir. It is giving display.
It is still giving display, which means, does this have any impact if you are on new GL?
No.
No impacts.
This does not have any impact if you are on new GL functionality. This will have impact only if you are using a classic GL. Now you will find very few clients, very rare clients who are working on classic GL. Almost every client is now on new GL. Even though they are on ECC version, they will still be using new GL. Now let's say I'll create one more case. Now this time what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the reversal of what I've done here, opposite. Here first what we did, we have posted a document. When the GL account line item is enabled, we have seen the document, we have disabled it. Now first I will disable the line item management. Okay, I'll create the transaction. After creating the transaction, I will enable the line item management. Then I will check whether the transactions that were posted before enabling line item management will be part of our report or not. Okay. Let me create another account, test case 1. I'll put test case 2. This time from the beginning itself, line item is not activated. Test case 2. Save. Now let me post one entry, post with reference. By default, it will take the latest document number. That is fine. I am going to replace the new account number here, 15. Test case 2, post it. Document is now posted. What I am going to do, I am going to run the classic GL report for 15. Now you understood where we have to test this. This has to be tested on classic GL report or new GL report, or on both. Where should we test this? On classic or on new or on both?
Classic GLs.
Only classic GL. Why not new GL?
There's no difference of line item management.
But in new GL, this line item management does not have any impact. So it's of no use to test in new GL, having known the fact this is not relevant, this is not applicable for new GL functionality. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm classic GL. I'll put the GL account number 15. It is not giving me the output. What it is telling? It is not giving me the output. Now, if I enable this, should I get the old posted transactions on my line item or I should not? I
You
mean
should
to
get,
say,
sir.
GL account was already created, but at the time of GL creation, we forgot to enable line item management. And we forgot that we have posted the transactions. Now we have realized that line item management is not enabled. Now we are going to enable that in the GL master. Should we get the old data before activating line item management after enabling it is what we are going to check now. Let me go to GL master, change mode. control data, enable line item management, click on save. Right, now I'll go back, reopen FBL3N, same account number, click on execute. Is there data? Is system showing the transaction which was posted in this account?
No, sir.
Yes, no. But practically there is a data or there is no data on that account. 15. I open 15. We posted one entry just now, right? 15, it is showing no data. Is this showing data? Yes, no?
No, sir.
No. But now I'll show you a document. Display. Now, do you have a transaction on your test case 2GL or not? 1111110015. Does this account have transaction or not?
We have on transactions.
You have a transaction, which means when you run the report, it is supposed to be displayed here, but this is not coming now both on both on Classic and on NewGL.
Yes, sir.
But just now we assumed this is not relevant for NewGL. We don't need to test it. But according to that statement, it has to come in NewGL.
Yes, sir.
But is this coming?
Not coming.
Not coming. Which means whatever we assume, is it correct always? Especially with respect to SAP, no. Unless you see, unless you experiment practically on the system, do not come to any conclusion. Right? System behaves in different ways in different scenarios. We may be aware of only 1-2 scenarios, but there may be different scenarios. There may be different scenarios we may not be aware of. So that is why when somebody asks, do not tell no, this is not possible. Instead tell you have not come across such scenario, such requirement. Stop using whatever you do not know is not possible or you are not aware. Instead of telling you are not aware, tell you have not come across such a scenario so far. Clear? Because you will have different scenarios. You may come across, you may not come across. But unless you come across such a scenario, you will not be able to realize, okay, this is also possible in the system. All these things are possible only when you experiment with the right approach. And you should have proper requirement, and you must be in a position to realize whether the scenario or requirement is valid or not. Sometimes we may blindly try to experiment with invalid scenarios. That is again wrong. So you must experiment with valid scenarios. Clear? Valid business scenarios. Now, in this case, what we have to do? First, let us try to activate line item management from the GL master. Okay, we have already activated that. Still data is not coming. Correct? This is already activated, but still data is not coming on both the reports, new GL, classic GL. What I am going to do, I am going to pass one more entry. This entry was posted when line item was enabled or disabled. When did we post this entry? When the line item was disabled. Whatever the entry was posted during line item was disabled is not reflecting on your report. Now I am going to pass one more entry when line item was enabled. Okay, I'll go back, post the same entry once again. This is again 6,000 credit into this. Sorry, this is again 6,000. I'll post. Another entry is posted. Now, according to us, how many entries are there in our test GL account?
2 entries.
One or two? Two entries. What is the account balance? Same entry we posted it twice. 6,000, 6,000. Your account balance is how much?
12,000.
12,000. Now let me run classic GL report. How much balance you are getting?
6,000.
6,000. But how much we were supposed to get?
12,000.
12,000. Let me go to new GL. Go back. I'll execute. How much are we getting here?
Same 6,000.
6,000. Is this correct or wrong?
Wrong, sir.
This is wrong. Agree, everyone? This is wrong.
Yes, sir.
Now, at this stage, with this scenario, you will get a ticket or you will get an issue reported by your client stating balances are not matching. Okay, with this, when you get a ticket or when you get an incident reported stating balances are not matching, when you backtrace, you will realize that okay, GL account was created when there was no line item enabled. Later on, they have enabled the line item. Now system is displaying transactions which are posted after enabling the line item management. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
Right? That is correct. Now, what is the requirement? What we have to do? You have to bring the transactions which were posted before enabling the line item management. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Is the requirement clear, everyone? You have to bring the
Yes, sir.
transactions which were posted before line item management was enabled. Now, to do that, what we have to do, let's say you are not aware. You're not aware what you have to do that. Now, in such scenarios, you are free to use Google. Okay, because these are not achieved through configuration. These are achieved through some transactions, in some cases through some programs. You may remember the programs, you may not remember the programs because these are not regular occurring issues. These may occur very frequently only with some kind of clients. Now, can somebody Google how to enable line item management in SAP and tell me the T code or program, whatever you are getting? And you have to know when to use Google, when not to use Google. Now, in this kind of scenarios, you are allowed to use Google. Not for everything. And if you are not able to understand what you have to do before going to Google, open a transaction code called, this is very important, SE93. What is the transaction code?
SC93.
SE93. Come to this transaction code. This transaction code is maintained transaction. All the transaction codes are created or maintained in this screen. If you know the transaction code, you can put. If you do not know, what are we trying to do? We are trying to do something with line item management, activation or deactivation of line item. Try to put line alone, or you put star at the beginning, star at the end. Do you find anything that is relevant to line item?
Yes, sir.
You are getting something called FCOM, but
Line
this,
sync.
whether this belongs to or this does not belong to, we do not know. But this is only talking about line. But we were talking about line item. So you put line space item also. Not getting, if you're not getting, put star in the middle also. Now you are getting something FTE. Put this, whatever T code comes, take that, click on this test, second icon or F8 on the keyboard. Clear? Click on this. So it is giving report FTE line items. You do not know what is this. So these kind of things do not execute if you are not aware, especially when there is no test run. Do you find any test run?
No, sir.
There is no test run. Just like that, let's say you found this T code in Google. You've come here blindly executing, then it's a big mistake that you're committing. Because there is no test run, you do not know why this is used for, in which scenario we have to run this, we are not aware. Just because we found it on Google, we are executing is a big mistake. Right? Now I do not know what it is. Since we are on the test system, it is fine. When you are doing such things, instead of doing it on the production system, it is always recommended you do such experiments on the development system. Which system?
Development 100.
Development system, not 100, 200, because this is not a configuration, this is a testing, this is a live execution.
Okay, sir.
I'll put company code. What is our company code? HDAM. And the GL account 1110015. 1110015. I'll put enter. I'll click on execute. Nothing happened. So in short, what this did, this transaction is taking us to the same report, right? Nothing is doing. It is not doing anything. It is simply taking us to the same report. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then this is not the T code to be used. Now, you try to use FAGL star.
Sir, Faggle underscore activate underscore OP.
OP is your open item. We are talking about line item.
IT, sir.
Okay, check if you are able to find a program or a T code. FAGL underscore.
Activate underscore IT.
So now you will find something called FAGL underscore activate underscore IT. Clear?
Yes.
Now underscore OP is for activating open item management. Underscore IT is for activating line item management. Now this is the T code to be used for activation. Now when you try to search this using this small hints tips, you will be able to crack most of the things. But if you are able to use this from the beginning, the way you are getting different issues on your day-to-day SAP FICO consulting, the same logics, same methodology will be applied there also. Hardly there may be 4 or 5 ways of solving any problem. Any one of the 4 or 5 ways will solve any of your SAP related issue. But you have to start thinking, you have to start understanding the problem first, root cause of the problem, what we are doing, why we are getting that problem. Right, now to run this, click on this test execute button. It is telling switch on line item display by changing master record. Okay, what is our company code? HDAM. GL account.
Yes.
What is the GL account? 1110015. 1110015. We do not know the document number, so it is telling a message. Before activating, it is giving a message. What message it is giving? Let us read out. To ensure that the line item balance does not change while the program is running, you must block the account for posting. So what system is trying to do? It is trying to convert the old transactions which were posted in this account before activating line item management will be converted into the line item management. During this process, system does not want any new transaction to be created. Possible or not? Users may be creating entries from different locations. Agree? It's not that you are the
Yes,
only one user posting in your company, right? There are different end users spread across different locations. Now to avoid any further transaction is created during this process, you have to block the account for posting. Clear? It is telling block this account before you carry out this change. So this statement is correct because during this process, if another entry is posted, you have to run this once again. Okay, I'll go to GL. What system is telling us? Block the GL account. To block the GL account, select this, click on this lock icon. Click on this and select blocked for posting and save this. Enter. Now we have blocked the GL account. After blocking the GL account, just press enter, execute once again. Now it is telling there are documents. Which document it is telling that it has been changed? Document 45, document selected, document number 45, document changed, document number 45, line items generated in table. What table it is talking about?
BSIS.
And for 46, is it giving the same statement, BSIS table?
No, sir.
It is not giving. Why it is not giving for 46? Why this is giving for 45?
We have already enabled for 46 and posted the entry.
Right. It is adding the record in the database table. It is adding the data in database table for the transactions which were posted before enabling line item management. So we were clear that we posted only one entry before enabling line item management. After enabling line item management, we posted only one entry. So after line item management, whatever the entry you posted is by default part of this BSIS table. And before enabling line item management, whatever you post are not part of BSIS table. Okay, so ignore what is this BSIS table and all for now. It is not relevant. Later on, I'll explain this table updation and all. For now, try to understand only the basic core functionality of it. Okay, now, did we have any test run here?
No, sir.
But we executed or not already this?
Executed.
We have executed, but there was no test run. So anything that you're executing on the system, especially when you're in a project, do not click on execute button if you do not find test run. Pay attention, you're on which system? You're on development system, you're on quality system, or you're on production system. Without paying attention to this checkbox called test run, do not execute it unless you are 100% sure. Something goes wrong, you can do nothing. Okay, we will not be able to understand the impact of it if you are not sure of what we have done. Clear? Now we have already executed this. Once we execute this program, what should ideally happen now? It should display two transactions showing 12,000 or only one transaction showing 6,000. Now if I execute
It should show 12,000.
12,000. Okay, now I am on the classic GL report. Execute. Now how much it is showing? 12,000.
Yes, sir.
Now if I run the new GL report, go back, execute. Clear now?
Yes, sir.
Right, now we made a statement stating this line item management is applicable only for classic GL. Is that correct now? On ECC, it is not correct. It is not correct. Whatever the entries you post, when the line item management was not active, it will not be displayed both classic GL and new GL. Clear? Is that what happened here? The first transaction was not part of both the reports. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Now, if I want to deactivate this, now we have seen how to activate this. Now I want to deactivate this. I want to deactivate, and when I deactivate, I want to make sure data disappears from the reports. Let us check how that will happen. Now let me come back. I have already blocked this. I'll remove the block for the GL account. Okay, now GL account has been activated. Control data. I'll remove line item. Now there is no line item. Now there is no line item. What should happen now? If I execute classic GL report, should I get the output or I should not get?
You should not get.
You are not getting the output. Okay. Now on the new GL,
You should not
should
get.
we get? Now new GL, there is no change. Now if you see this, now the behavior of the system is a little tricky.
Yes, sir.
Right? Now these are all called as your business scenarios. Right? It is not the same in every scenario. Depending on the scenario, depending on the requirement, the way you have to use the system, the way you have to read, understand the system differs. That is the reason people expect experienced candidates. That is the reason people will tell one should have the in-depth, detailed knowledge of business process understanding. Otherwise, we will end up telling go to this T code, put the tick, remove the tick. Correct? Simply you will tell you put enabled, you do not put disabled. If you want, go to this transaction code, execute enabled, but how do I disable it? For disabling, there is no transaction code. Now, if I have to disable, what is the process? Now, can you search by disabling line item management? Got something? You will find programs starting with RFS.
Yes, sir. RFS EPA01.
Now, what is this? This is a program or a transaction code?
So programs.
It's a program. Which transaction should we use for executing programs as a functional consultant? It ends with 38, starts with S. There is one more letter. Two letters are applicable, but only one as a functional consultant we have to use.
SA38.
SA38 we have to use, and SE also can be used, but when you're in a project, when you're in a real environment, you may have access to SE38, you may not have access to SE38 because SE38 is a pure technical transaction used by ABAP consultant. Okay, so as a functional, if you want to use execute any program, SA38 is what you have to use. Even if somebody is asking you, tell SA38, not SE38. If they say SE38 also can be used, tell SE38 is basically used by the technical team. Now in this, put that program. What is that program?
RFSEPA 0.
RF SEPA 0. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now another mistake that we normally do is whatever we come from Google, you just copy paste it and put this here, right? This is again a mistake. So instead what you do, you keep typing this RF this, and if you keep going back, let's say 38, say 38, something is wrong. One sec. Execute. We're able to come here. I think this F4 get help. This is not working. That's okay. Normally, when you're in a real environment, what you do instead of directly putting copy paste, now you see everything is a program name, but at the end you will find a numeric 1, right?
Yes,
You'll find 0, 1. So what normally you have to do, you have to put this as it is and try to remove the last digits. Then it will start giving you the other programs also, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. If there is any, it will give you the additional program names also. By doing one thing, you will come to know the 2, 3 other things also. Clear? If I open this once again, in this functionality is disabled. So let's try from SE38. Now here you are able to see this. Now this F4 drop down functionality is not enabled in that SA38, but that will not be the case in your real environment. Somebody who practiced would have done that. Now the same one, if I remove it, I am able to get 4 programs, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. What are these 4 programs used for? All these 4 are relating to your open item and line item management. Agree? One for activation, one for deactivation.
yes, sir.
Program number 1, switch on line item management. Program number 4, reduced line item management. This is to remove it. This is to enable it. Similarly, 02 is to switch on open item management. 03 is to switch off open item management. And when somebody is asking this, you have to tell along with this program name. Okay. Now, if I do a F4, I'll get this. What I am going to do, I am going to copy this. And this also let's copy. Okay, these programs we'll have to know. Clear? Now to switch off the line item management, which program to be used?
Zero 04.
04. Which transaction to be used for executing this?
SA38 is not working.
SA38. Here you can directly execute it. Okay, click on execute. It is again telling reduced line item display after masked data change. Click on company code, GL account number 15. There is no test run. Click on execute. Now what it is telling? Now it is deleting all the line items from the table BSIS.
Yes.
45 and 46 both are deleted. Let us run the report now, both classic and new GL. Let me run classic GL report, execute. This is not going inside. because line item management is currently disabled. Now, if I run the new GL report, if I click on execute, this is still showing 2 line items.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, what I'll do, I'll change the master record. I will now enable this, save it. If I come back, reopen FBL 3N, same GL account, execute, there is no data, right? Data is not coming here. Similarly, if I come back to the new GL report, open again FHGLL03, execute, there is no data. Clear? Now, how do we bring them back? From the program side, which program to be used to bring back your line items?
01, sir.
SCA38 and the 01.
Right. This program and okay. RF SCPA 01, click on execute. But one condition, when you are enabling line items, what is the condition? What setting we have to do in the GL?
Block.
You have to block the GL to avoid further postings during the conversion process. So when you are doing these kind of experiments, when you are doing these kind of testings, make sure you are noting down all the points, all your observations. Only these points, only these observations will create an impact with your interviewer. Because process anybody can tell. This is the program, but how exactly you have to execute, those execution steps is what matter a lot. Clear? Now you have to come to this GL, select this GL account, click on block. Blocked for posting, you have two blocks. One is in chart of account, the other one is company code. If you are doing this for a particular company code, you need not block this. You can block only in the company code. Even if you block here, even if you block here, one and the same. This will block for all the company codes. This will block only for selected company code. Clear? Now I have blocked the GL account. Now let me execute this. Company code, GL account number, click on execute. Now BSIS table is coming for one transaction or two transactions?
2 transactions.
Because two transactions have been deleted from the table in our previous report. Now in this report, new transactions are being added. Go back. Is this a test run or update run? This is update run because there is no test run button here. Do you find any test run button?
No, sir.
There is no test run, which means whatever you do will straight away go and update the record, whatever it has to do. Now, if we run the report, should we get the output or not? Two line items?
You should not get.
We should get or we should not get. Now, table data is added or not added. Currently, the GL account has line item enabled. We should get or we should not get?
Should get.
We should get. Execute. You are able to see 12,000. Similarly, for the new GL report, if you go back, open again, same report, you are able to get 12,000. Clear? When you see
Yes.
this on the Excel sheet, it is very simple. When we see it on the
Yes.
Excel sheet, even now, it is very simple. Use this report to enable the other report to disable. Block the GL account for posting. But when you practically do it on the system, there are different scenarios. Depending on each scenario, system is behaving differently. Agree? Right? So that is where your business process, your actual knowledge will come into picture, whether you are able to understand the requirement clearly or not. Otherwise, you will act like a technical consultant. Technical consultant means this is the report to be executed. You will go and execute the report. Same thing you will do n number of times because you are not realizing what is the scenario there. Unless and until you realize what is your actual business scenario, execution of this report or any other function is not going to help you. Instead, we are complicating the problem. Clear? In this similar way, I want all of you to start experimenting on the others. Start experimenting. Write down what are your findings, what are your observations, whether you are able to do it or not. You are free to use Google. Wherever you are not finding the transaction code, whatever, you are free to use Google, but only to the extent of knowing the transaction code or the program, not to know the process. Process is something that you have to do by experimenting on the system. If you are doing the step-by-step process somewhere, you are copying it, you are not learning anything. Your learning is when you are able to understand the impact. If I do it wrong, what is the impact? If you are lost somewhere, whether you are able to reach your home or not, that is where, if you really know where your house is. Otherwise, if I take you and leave at a place where you are not aware, and you are lost completely. In your real environment, scenarios are not simple, not straightforward. Be very clear. Okay? And by doing all these kind of experiments, the way your thinking will get drastically changed. You're not going to look at the problem, you're not going to look at the system the way others look. You're going to look at from a different point of view, from a business point of view. First, you're trying to understand what we are trying to do, what is our requirement. Only then you will open the system. Sometimes what will happen, there will be no problem. It's all about our understanding problem, or it is about our execution problem. But if you're clear with the requirement, okay, this is what you want to do. Once your client gives you the problem, your client will not be sitting with you when you're solving the problem. Am I correct? Yes, no? You will be only
Yes.
notified on the problem, and for the solution, you have to work alone. Is my statement correct?
Yes,
Is my
sir.
statement correct? Now, if you're not clear with the problem, how will you find the solution? The problem itself is becoming a problem for you. There is no point of solution. You cannot go back and ask, can you explain the problem once again? They may not explain again unless if you're asking on the same day or the next day. They might tell, no, I am busy. They might tell, we've already discussed this yesterday. What more you want to know from me? Some users, some clients will get irritated if you ask them the same question repeatedly. Clear? So if you're not clear while discussing itself, you try to know the problem clearly. If not, ask your client to share their screen and then create on your screen. So they will have no problem, no issues with it. They will be happy to share the problem completely. They will explain you everything from the scratch, what they were doing, where they are getting the problem, what value or how system is behaving, what according to them system should behave. So you have a proper test case, you have a proper scenario listed, so that you have to fix the problem. When you fix the problem, you have to test from your end. before you tell the client that this problem is now resolved. Agree? You have not tested, you told your client that no, now we have made changes, please test now. Again another problem comes, doesn't sound good, doesn't look good. So to avoid these kind of things, you have to test it thoroughly. Sometimes your clients will ask you their RCA, root cause analysis. They will ask, all these years, all these months we were using this without any problem, why this problem is coming all of a sudden, what happened? Well, which means there is some reason due to which this is happening, right? So that reason is what you have to find out and explain them. Because of this problem had happened, this is what we have done to ensure these kind of problems will not occur going forward. Clear? These are all very simple, straightforward, nothing much you have to do. Since we have done on this system, we have done slowly, we have took long time, but when you sit and execute it, if you do one or two, you will get that rhythm, you'll understand the logics. So you will straight away get to the point, you will create the test cases on your own, you will start testing, experimenting. Once you're on this flow, you will not give up. And if it is not working, you will feel that I have spent 1 hour, I'll spend 1 more hour to clear this, because you will start enjoying, right? But do not give up, because these are all simple basic fundamentals we are starting with. We are going to do different scenarios, but these are very basic fundamentals. But the way you are thinking, the way you are working remains constant, whether it is a simple scenario, whether it is a very big, critical, complicated scenario. It's like there are only 4 ways. Either of the way will take you to your destination. That's it. But first of all, those 4 ways should strike your mind. That happens only when you develop that mindset from the beginning. Clear? All right, let me stop this.